Hi, I'm Dr. Elliot Adam from ElliotOracle.com, and it's time for part 2 of my Tarotscope videos for April 2020. And I'm going through all the astrological signs, but in this video, video 2, we're going to go over the signs of Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. So if you're a Cancer, or you have a lot of Cancer in your chart, this is going to be the message for you. So, one card fell out, and it was the King of Swords. Okay. Next, Four of Swords. And finally, the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so for the sign of Cancer, we have two Swords cards, which are a bit airy. The King of Swords represents a situation that feels fixed or immovable that you're dealing or grappling with at this time. And whenever we see the King of Swords, he's basically saying that you won't win a battle with the King of Swords. So in other words, you can't fight this intransigent situation. Instead, you need to outwit it or outsmart it. And swords in the tarot are airy. They have to do with our thoughts, our intellect, and also our mental approach to problems. And the way of the King of Swords is to be dispassionate and to win the day through what makes logical sense at this time. Sometimes the King of Swords is all about stepping back and getting all the information before trying to proceed. But always that King of Swords is indicating that you are working within the parameters of something that's a little bit difficult to see change, but it's just important to remain flexible and adaptable at this time. Next, we got that Four of Swords card, which is a card of rest, solitude, exile, retreat, time to plan and think. With this whole social distancing thing going on, that doesn't surprise me. But this card is also about finding peace again, going inward, really staying calm, getting the rest that you need at this time, recuperation. And so this could be a really positive time of healing. So yes, you have this intransigent situation with the King of Swords, this difficulty, but with this Four of Swords, it's saying it's also a good time for respite. It's also a good time to catch your breath and to do some inward healing work and resting at this time. And then finally, we got that Queen of Pentacles, and she's in her garden, and it's not yet in full bloom, but everything's blooming in its perfect timing. And the Queen of Pentacles is just telling you, relax. It's all going to bloom. It's going to bloom whether you're worried about the blooms blooming or not. And so it's important right now to release maybe your fear or your anxiety. And that's symbolized by that Queen of Pentacles, this little rabbit in the bottom corner of the card. And that's just indicating that at this time, your anxiety might be getting the better of you. It might be chattering around in the background of your life. And it's important to tune that anxiety out and to refocus your energy back on your projects, on your inner security, and also on your home life. This is a good time to unplug and retreat and really treat yourself well for this month of April. The next sign we're going to go into is the astrological sign of Leo. So if you are a Leo, or you have a lot of Leo in your chart, this is going to be the message for you. First, the Sun, the quintessential Leo card. Next, the Six of Swords. And finally, the Nine of Wands. Okay, so for Leo, when we see the Sun, any card that comes up next to the Sun, the challenging aspects are lessened. The Sun is just as bright as it can get, and it really brings the energy up to any reading in any card that it surrounds. So in the case of the Sun, it's indicating that there is magical assistance. It's almost like you're being given a gift, or there's this really positive energy that's going to be coming to save the day for you. The Sun is telling you to be optimistic, especially in the time of change and transition, which is symbolized by that Six of Swords right there. The Six of Swords shows the refugees who are leaving behind the rough waters, and they're going toward the smooth waters. They're finding their safe shore. And so when this card comes up, it's saying it's time to surrender turbulent times or the turbulence in your life and go with the flow. It's almost like life is letting you go forward on a current. And it's important to not fight the current, but to just surrender to it. And know that the help you're needing is going to come when you need it. In the case of the Nine of Wands, it can indicate that life has kind of beat you up into this point. You've been bumped and bruised. The man on the Nine of Wands is wearing that bandage on his head, which is indicating that a wound has been done there. But what it's also indicating for the Nine of Wands is that this is your time to maintain some boundaries and also to feel some healthy pride for the things that you've worked hard for through your blood, sweat, and tears. The Nine of Wands is saying it's important to protect those things at this time, but it's also time to lighten up a little bit. When I see the Sun card, which is such a light card next to the very serious Nine of Wands, it could indicate that things have gotten too serious and maybe you need to allow yourself a little bit more play, a little bit more enjoyment. We see that little sun baby riding the horse, which could even indicate that this is a time to let your inner child out, or to be imaginative, or to play more in your life at this time. Another thing I will say about the Sun card is it's important to turn your face toward the light, because that is going to be what brings about the best positive energy for you this next month for Leo. And then finally with that Nine of Wands, it does say also to release any chip on your shoulder. We really do get to perceive things how we choose. So we can look at it as negative or bad or struggling or hard, or we can look at it as an opportunity to be stronger, to be better, or to grow and to be excellent. And that Nine of Wands just indicates that you have survived the trial by fire, and now it's time to pat yourself on the back and to really put some energy invested into something that brings you joy. And then finally, we got the astrological sign of Virgo. So if you're a Virgo, or if you have a lot of Virgo in your chart, this is going to be the month message for you for April 2020. First card for Virgo, the Fool card. Second card for Virgo is the Devil card. And finally, the Nine of Pentacles. Okay, so Virgo is dealing with some anxiety and some fear. Whenever we see the Devil card, he's really telling us that the state of being in hell is our choice. The picture shows these two people who are chained to the devil's throne, and they feel very powerless, but the chains they wear are very loose. They can choose to slip out of those chains whenever they want to. And oftentimes when we're in a stress spiral or a worry spiral, or when we're listening to the shadow too much, it can make us feel powerless or trapped or stuck. And this card of the Devil reminds us that we can get ourselves out of hell free whenever we choose. And it's so important because the cards flanking the Devil right now for Virgo are so optimistic and positive. Number one, we got the Fool card, which is saying that it's almost like a reset button has been hit. There's an openness, there's an expanse of which you get to fill your life with whatever you want it to be. And it's important to go forward on this journey lighthearted and optimistic and free. The Fool is also on that journey, so there's a sense that you're kind of moving away from one phase and going into another. And there is no small amount of fear that's also going on at this time too. The Fool is optimistic and he's starting his new beginning, but when he shows up next to the Devil card, it also says that there could be a lot of worry or fear or trepidation about the path being secure or safe. But when we see that Nine of Pentacles there, it's telling you that things couldn't be more secure in your future. Nine of Pentacles is a card of financial stability, security. It's basically saying that what you're going to need is going to be there if you can train your focus on the positive. Now, why do I say focus? Well, on that card of the Nine of Pentacles, we see the woman holding the falcon, and falcons are famous for their focus. And the woman is placing a hood over the falcon, which means she's being really disciplined with what she's focusing on at this time. She's not allowing herself to focus on the negative or the shadow. Instead, she's focusing on what her goal is. And then finally, on that Nine of Pentacles, way in the bottom corner of the card, I hope you can see it, is that little snail. And the snail represents sensitivity to your environment at this time. And so this could be a time when you're going to be a little bit more sensitive to the moods of other people, the news you're hearing, information you're ingesting at this time. And so that Nine of Pentacles is saying to be very selective about what kind of diet you're feeding yourself mentally at this time. If you can free yourself from some of these challenges right now and really focus on what you want more of and on what's comfortable and secure in your life, you're going to be okay, Virgo. So that is part two of the Tarotscope videos. I also want to plug my book, which I got these cool promotional materials for. So that's for Fearless Tarot, which is available for pre-order and is coming out from Llewellyn this October. Otherwise, I also want you to check me out at elliotoracle.com and schedule a one-on-one reading with me if you so feel inclined. Otherwise, I hope all of you do take good care of yourselves and that you're nice and safe and protected over this month of April, and stay positive because all of this will pass. Take care.